Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Rosie here, and, I kind of made a mistake today, lads. I kind of made a mistake today. And it's basically, y'all know I have a new job. And that new job is a job that, I work on the computer all day and frolic about. I can kind of just do, as long as I'm getting the shit I have to get done in the day done, I can have an earphone in and concentrate on some other stuff. And the nature of that is I'm just kind of, watching some stuff, throwing some stuff on, whether it be this, that, or the other. And so one of the things that I can do in the day is I can just go pick out a fucking random ass movie and throw it on. I try to stick to shit I've seen before, but sometimes I'll branch out. I mostly try to stick to garbage because I know I don't have to be that invested in what's going on. And the mistake I made here was clicking on something that was actually semi-interesting. I definitely needed to watch this not at work because I just clicked on Shudder. I just thought I would just click on a random ass Shudder movie that sounded okay, and so I did. And I just thought, I could just kind of look at it from here and there, because Shudder really doesn't have too much to offer from my not really. And all the theatrical Shudder releases have been absolute fucking trash. But this wasn't a Shudder release. This is just on Shudder. But as the first act began to play out, it was very clear to me that this was definitely something I should have saved for a home viewing. So my recollection and analysis might not be perfect because keep in mind I was working as this movie was playing. But that all being said, I have a lot to say on this. I have a lot to say here. And again, I'm gonna try to keep this fucking short because again, this is not something that I'm gonna have. I have a script. I have an outline. Everything I'm gonna go here is gonna be based off of one viewing, and that's it. One viewing where I was working as well during said viewing. So not going to be the most the most recollected, and not going to be like 2 hours of your life. But basically, the plot of this movie, lads, if you can't tell yet, based on this trailer, basically, the world has a population. This is set in the not too distant future. This movie's called Humane. I don't even know if I said that yet. This movie's, I guess it is a Shudder sponsored thing, but this movie's called Humane, and it takes place in the not too distant future where basically global warming and climate change, as well and other factors, global warming, I know was something that was brought up a lot. But basically, a bunch of factors have basically led to food shortage. That was the other one. Global warming has over the years has led to environmental changes that have drastically cut down the human food supply, and so there was a global coalition to cut down the population by 20%. Okay, that's what's fucking going on here. You have 20% of the human population has to die. And in order, I don't know what genius calculated that number, but so basically, at least in the United States, I mean, one of the characters, Bob, kind of says a couple lines about the way other countries are doing it, about how they just fucking kill people or whatever. The way that the United States is doing it in this timeline is that the government is basically fucking paying people to fucking, like, they're saying, if you fucking kill yourselves, we'll give your family $250,000 or some fucking horse shit. Like, they're basically paying these people or whatever. That's how it's stated at the beginning. But it's quickly apparent that like don't worry. The way that the government is portrayed in this is they're very sleazebally, and like the corporate assholes that are doing this, they're all fucking very sleazebally. But so basically, what happens is this family, whatever, in this time period. First of all, great setup. Like what? Like that? That's something that the reason that one of the reasons that the first act of this movie in particular is very good, is this setup and the very strong sense of world building that the film provides in its first, definitely the first third. The first third of this movie is very quiet, and it relies on its concept to create a somber mood that lasts throughout the entire first act and throughout most of the movie, actually. This concept is, for lack of a better word, haunting. And it's something that if you, especially with the politically active society that we're currently in, and more so than usual due to the Trump assassination attempt, it's something that, like, I for one definitely watched this at a time where the political shit is high, and this movie does take a side, and we'll certainly get into that. But like the first third of this movie, with the tone that it goes for, the concept of like euthanasia and shit, like it's very depressing and dark. Almost kind of reminds you of Joker. This is not an enjoyable experience. This is not something you're like entertained while you're watching. It's something. It's kind of like a car crash, and that you can't look away from because you're into everything that's happening. But it's still like somber almost. Like you're not like you're enthralled in a very negative sort of way. Again, I love shit like that. I love shit like that and concepts like that. It's something that a very morbid look at the world. I can definitely appreciate that. And so I was very much a fan of the first third of this movie and kind of what they were doing, because it's almost depressing, for lack of a better word, where this family, okay, the basically some background here. I didn't catch everything. The son here, we'll get into a brief. The dad was like on a news anchor, okay, and he like reported on a bunch of shit. Where's the old guy? Like the dad was like a fucking. The dad was like a news anchor who did honest reporting or whatever the fuck. Okay, so everybody like knows and respects him, and then his wife there opened like a fucking restaurant or some shit, and there's other shit we'll get into it. Again, this movie does take a side, and that can be a turnoff, and is a complaint I have. But and so like they're like the dad is like the nice one, but although the daughter doesn't think so. And again, like they say he's kind of a piece of shit dad, but he's like they have this big extravagant family dinner, okay, where they bring everybody in, and there's four kids, okay. The first son basically kind of followed in his father's footsteps and is also like on TV, okay, but he's like a cocksucker, okay, almost like he's a dickhead. This guy, he's like a dickhead, where he's like. He's saying the euthanasia enlistment number needs a boost, and he opens the movie by like saying they should even lower the fucking age of enlistment. Basically, in other words, trying to kill your children. Like if your 17-year-old if your minors want to go kill themselves, they should be allowed to enlist and do so. Which, you know, for this movie's obvious side that it chooses to go. It does leave itself open to be interpreted for both sides a little bit more than I think people are giving it credit for. Obviously, this man's fucking claim is ridiculous, and we'll get into some of the deeper stuff there. And again, this is all off one viewing, so if I miss shit, let me know. So basically, he's framed to be a dickhead, right? Because he's trying to kill your children, and he's got connections in the government or whatever, okay? And then I'm trying to see everybody. This chick, okay, the chick, you can't really see her face. She's kind of pretty. I forget all their names. I'm trying to see if I can think. Did I give her a circuit? Oh, there's a family shot. Okay, hold on. Where's that family shot at? Yeah, the kind of pretty one. Yeah, I guess she's not that pretty from that shot. But this one right here, she wants to be an actress or some shit. That's pretty much all you know about her. This bitch right here is also in the government or some fucking shit, and they say she like pushed some bill that like made women sick or something, and they continued to make them sick, and she knew about it, and that means her daughter there gets bullied. Her daughter's in the movie too. And then this guy is their adopted person. Like, the family adopted him. Okay? And he became like a drug addict, and he's been clean for 10 years. And that's kind of where we are. So, basically, so the dad and the Asian woman have decided to enlist in this euthanasia program or whatever the fuck, which is crazy in and of itself. Because when I read this concept, I was assuming it was going to be some fucking old man, right? Like, I was assuming it was going to be just some old guy in his like 90s that is like ready to get killed, and then like there's some I don't know why I was thinking of the concept, but this guy is clearly young. Like I mean, he's the oldest one in the room, but like he's clearly like what? What does he look like? In his 50s? 50s? Maybe late 40s. But like he's a lot younger than the synopsis made him out to be. And then his wife looks a little older, but again, Asians tend to age really fast at that age. But basically, so they tell their kids they're gonna enlist, and then dipshit Bob shows up fucking 5 hours early to start killing them all. He's like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm here to kill you." He just walks to the door. And so like, first of all, Bob is the best thing in the movie. He is the only sense of comic relief in the movie, which is kind of funny considering the morbidness of what he's doing. But like, he's kind of like desensitized to it because he basically walks around and kills people. Like, the government pays him and his company to go around and fucking kill people. They say he used to be at like a jail or whatever, but like as soon as it just said 20% of the population needed to die, the prisons obviously were the first place to get fucking emptied out, right? And they say that the prisoners enlisted, but like the shadiness of the government, especially with the ending, the implication there being that the U.S. is no better than anybody else and just fucking kill all their inmates. Which, yeah. But, so basically they show up 5 hours early, and then the Asian chick, okay, first it gets cold feet and leaves, and so they kill the dad, and then, yeah. And then the guy goes, "We still need 2 bodies, motherfuckers." And so that's the movie, right? Where we still need 2 bodies. It doesn't fucking matter that the bitch ran off. We need 2 York bodies. That's what we're here to do. And so, and then the rest of the movie is that these people get in the house, and then they quickly start like fighting with each other, very, very quickly. And so that's kind of now again, I'm not going to go over a scene by scene kind of dissection here. I'm just going to cover some of the major points here. As a piece of art, this movie's main issue is that as soon as it's time to go to the second and third act, the movie starts to fall apart. The concept and the world building can only do you so much. When it's time to give you the kick, this movie can't deliver it. The very forced way that everybody starts fighting is completely fucking ridiculous. First of all, like they say they don't know each other and they're just people. Like the one of the mean chick, the government bitch that killed all the women or whatever. She's like, I don't even know you people, and I can just tell you I'm not gonna die. And then she like stabs the adopted, because they all the story is they kind of all gain up on the adopted sibling. Which, again, exploring a concept like that, I'm all down for. This movie just didn't do it right. Like, they all immediately start attacking the adopted sibling because he's kind of a druggie or whatever. Well, he was a druggie, wasted the family's money, etc. Even the girl even the semi-pretty one that, like, said that they were a team or whatever, she immediately turns on him when shit hits the fan. And she is immediately, like her loyalty is just nothing. And then, like, another stupid thing is that, like the next scene or 2 later, she comes in and pretends to be his friend again, and he's all like, "Okay, yeah, you didn't just try to fucking kill me and shoot me in the fucking face with pepper spray, we can be friends again." And of course she fucking betrays him again, or whatever. It's the most predictable, most stupid thing I've ever seen in my entire life, almost. Like, she just fucking, like, Like, she, like, immediately betrays him after betraying him once. Makes that guy look like a fucking idiot. Because he just accepted her back so fucking quickly. But that guy's kind of no saint either. Like, there's just something off about him. Even though that he, like, the adopted guy, even though it's like, he's kind of the one that you have investment in, because the other two are, like, dickheads, and then the other bitch betrayed him, so he's kind of outnumbered here, and so you do kind of feel bad for him, but just kind of, like, the fact that first of all, the fact that he's stupid, for one, is bad, and then, like, I don't know, just kind of the way he conducts himself, he's kind of awkward at first. But then, like, he kind of has a screw loose at the beginning where he, like, gets overtly kind of violent with his foster adopted brother or whatever. Even though, again, the brother was being a dick, but, like, he was, like, gonna pick something up and hit him with the kid in the room, right? So, like, he kind of has a screw loose, too. The whole family kind of has a screw loose. So it's, like, and then, like, especially, like, I don't fucking know. Like, the way it's framed, kind of in the third act, when he starts getting retribution on the other family members, I don't. Just something about him is off. Maybe it's the way he's acted. I'm not. Again, I need to watch this again. But like, something about that guy is off, and I can't really explain what it is, and that kind of bothers me because I'm usually good at explaining what it is. It's just something about it that, like, you don't have a dog in the fight. It's heel versus heel versus heel versus heel in that house. It is the situation that, again, even though I was working, I kind of found myself seeing. Like, this is heel versus heel versus heel versus heel. You don't have a dog in the fight. You're just kind of watching what happens. And that can be interesting. I think heel versus heel versus heel versus heel is like heel versus heel, I think can work when it's done right. I love bad guy versus bad guy action. One of my favorite things I've seen in my life is the Shield versus the Wyatt family. That 2013 Elimination Chamber match, that was heel versus heel, and of course the Shield were the baby faces in the matchup. Like, they wrestled as faces there, but still, like, the idea of bad guys fighting other bad guys, I like, but these bad guys didn't do it for me. I guess is what I'm trying to say, and of course, like, so basically, after they betray the kid, after the adopted sibling, he's, like, on the floor passed out. All three of the other people are sitting there, and they, like, don't kill him. Like, none of them can bring themselves to actually kill him, okay? And then his girlfriend shows up at the house. I don't know why, but, like, he called her at the beginning of the movie, and it was kind of framed like she was far away. Like, I thought she was on the complete other side of the country, based on kind of the decision to, like, call her, like, video call her or whatever. And, like, They made it seem like the guy was the adopted sibling was very disconnected with the family, and this was, like, the first time he's shown back up. So I don't know. I was under the impression that the girlfriend, the black girlfriend, and that is relevant. I'm not just calling her black. That's relevant. I was under the impression that she was, like, just on the complete other, like, I thought she lived at the complete other side of the country, which she didn't. She apparently was right outside the door the whole time. Kind of don't know why she wasn't even there, but she kind of comes when he's, like, passed out and all the family's, like, turned on him or something or whatever. And she basically, when they all come up, like, she's filming the government, like, you know, like when you film police some people do that because they're scared of getting shot, so they film the cops, right? She's filming the police, which is valid in this situation because the government's being shady as shit. But basically, they tell her to get help, and then Bob tells his officers to, like, get her as she runs away, and they fucking just, they shoot her. And now you can kind of see that the writer has kind of revealed her hand as which side in the political spectrum she's on. All that lady is there to do in this movie is get shot by the cops. That's literally all she does. I'm not even exaggerating. She's literally on screen. Like, she gets a video call at the beginning of the movie for 20 seconds, and then she shows back up and gets shot. That's all it is. That's like, it's there to be a political point and nothing else. It's there to go, haha, look at that. The evil white cop shot the unarmed black girl. You see how evil Republicans are? Like, that's what it was. Fuck the police. That's what it was. And then, of course, you can obviously, like, again, the writer's dog in the fight. This is obviously a movie that spreads the message. It's a very left-leaning movie, with the climate change being the thing responsible for the need to cut 20% of the population off. And, like, the kid very blatantly telling the Bob that your generation ruined the planet, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's very clear that this is an anti-right-wing movie. It's very, very clear. But then there's also, but again, I say it's a little bit more gray than being pure anti-right-wing, because there's also, like the guy at the beginning wants to kill your children. Like, he wants to be like, your kids are capable of making the decision to die before they turn this guy. Your kids can decide if they want to die or not. They could be 15 years old and say, I want to die, and you as a parent have no right to stop them from enlisting. Okay? That is obviously more applicable to the gender reassignment debacle that's going on right now, which obviously the left are the ones that are saying that your children can decide to get their balls cut off, right? I'm just being blunt. I don't give a shit. So, like, that whole thing is more comparable to that. And then this whole big government kind of thing, this government conspiracy that's going on, like, with the whole the government is big and it's controlling its population and basically forcing them to kind of do all this shit. Like, they call it enlistment, but, like, by the way it is framed at the end of the movie, the government is very much causing this to happen. They're very much kind of being overly controlling about it, or borderline fascistic. That, to me, is more big government left-wing shit, right? Now, again, this is a very politically divided United States right now. Obviously, the whole Trump is a fascist or whatever the fuck. We're not getting into that. If you watch me, you already know how I probably feel about that shit. But basically, like, again, I'm only bringing all this up because this movie demands it to be brought up. It's dipped into the movie's DNA. You can't talk about it without bringing some of this shit up, because it's one of the message comes before the story movies. And it's very clear, based on the stuff, like, the black girl's just there to get shot. She doesn't do anything important besides get shot. And again, it's that just comes out of fucking nowhere. Because it's like, number one, again, I thought she lived halfway across the planet, and then she doesn't have any other scene other than to get killed by the white police officer. That's all that she does. If she was in the house and had more development, that would be one thing. Like, if you think Annie and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 had no development, just watch this black bitch get shot in this movie. For real. Annie's death in Halloween 2 is fucking sad. This, not getting misty-eyed over anything that happens in this movie. At all. At all. And then, so it's like all that shit is happening. And again, we already talked about the narrative problem with this shit, which after the first act, the movie kind of just takes a big falls on its fucking face and can't handle the weight of what it's doing. So the family's killing each other the whole fucking time, right? And then all of a sudden, they all just suddenly become friends again. Like, after the girlfriend is dead, the adopted sibling gets up and he starts just fucking Terminator manhandling everybody. And so then all of a sudden, like, he's really beaten the bitch that betrayed him up. Like, he's strangling her, he's about to kill her. He beats her fucking senseless. And then the sister actually saves her by like goading him over to her, and then he starts like she goads him with the fact that he's the only one that, like, he still really liked the dad and didn't want the dad to die. But like, basically, after she goads him with the family speech, then they're all like, oh, we're all friends again and none of us are gonna fucking volunteer or die. After fucking killing each other, like, That's not what you'd be saying to each other. That's another thing that I noticed a lot in this. Not a lot of, or was that the other movie I watched today? Not even now. Not a lot of genuine. I think that was the first movie. Disregard that. I don't have any examples off the top of my head. But they're all of a sudden just fucking friends again. They're like, oh, we're gonna get fucking Bob. Let's go get Bob. Which Bob the whole time took the kid out to the car. That's why he's not there and gave him 2 hours to fucking do all this. And so, like, he's just out with the kid or whatever. And basically he comes in and they start trying to makeshift heal each other before he comes in, and the actress bitch is on the ground when he comes in, and he assumes that she's dead, but then she like stabs him in the leg, and they abduct him or whatever, and then they put him on the bed, and they're about to do the operation to kill him. Does that happen at the end here when he's like, we've all had a hell of a night or whatever. Right? He's on the bed, they're about to fucking kill him, and he starts trying to grab ass and talk his way out of it, okay? And he starts fucking saying all this horse shit, and then the kid's like, you're going to hell, and all this horky shit. And again, remember, he's framed to be a conservative. The implication is that he's a conservative man. Just like you can just tell. And the other people are also framed as conservative, the people that are, and again, it's just in the way that they're framed and portrayed. It's just like, they're obviously meant to be conservatives. Based once you know about the heel dynamic of because the writer threw her hat in the ring of which side she picked, the characters that are dicks and are written to be over the top assholes, they are obviously the part that she doesn't like, right? It's very, very clear. But he's on the bed and they're about to kill him or whatever. And again, at the end of the movie, it's like he's about to flip the switch, and then it cuts to the next scene where they're all, like, he's on the piano. Oh, and I forgot to say that the pretty one actually ends up dying because of her wounds. So that beating she took at the hands of her adopted sibling was so bad, she actually does end up dying from it. And so then she dies in the next scene or whatever. And so but it's revealed at the very end of the movie that Bob is alive, and he managed to talk his way out of it. And he offered them money, he offered them all kinds of fucking horse shit. But they lived, and then the very end, the commercial, there were a few commercials throughout the movie of like, we America applauds, and the nation commends you for your sacrifice or whatever. Bunch of ads for these people that have died. And then at the very end, the girlfriend and the pretty girl are given an ad that frames them as like they've been friends this whole time, and they decided to go together because they just cared so much about the future or whatever the fuck. So like, it's corporate propaganda, essentially. Like, they fabricated the events that took place in that house. And that's the end. So like, the evil government fabricated the events, and that's the end of it. And so they will continuously keep going. Bob got away with everything and is going to continuously continue his work. The ending pisses people off because the family actually ended up taking the bribe. That's the implication there. They took the bribe, and the government got to spin it whatever they want. Now, the family are framed as terrible people throughout the movie, but that is not the ending that at least I would have picked. That's just I don't know, not what I expected that they were going to do. I kind of just feel like that it should have just ended with them killing Bob and getting on the same page. Not even because the story deserved a happy ending, but it's just like, there's no growth. That's the real problem. Everybody in the movie's still a dick at the end of the day. Like nobody learned anything from this. Nobody learned anything from this. Life will go on. The government's still corrupt, which we all know that shit. We all know that shit already. It's just like, what's the point? What did these people learn by being here? They didn't learn anything. And I know I'm forgetting shit, like the fact that they actually do end up finding the Asian mom and throwing her in a lab or something. I'm skipping like half the kids scenes with Bob, and I know I'm skipping stuff and messing around, but like, again, this is no script, no outline. Only seen it once, was working barely. It didn't even see half of it. Just like, But it's just like, I think this movie is worth a watch. Just for one, the first act. If you want to, like, the first act of the movie is objectively good. It is the first act of the first like 30 minutes of the movie. Everything up until the dad dies is actually like really good. Like it is very captivating. And then from there, if you want to watch a movie like fucking Yeet and Slipper, like, oh damn it, like it's running, woo, like Charlie Brown. You want to watch a movie like fucking Charlie Brown, man? This is a good one to pick, just because of the how strong the first act is, and then like it's almost like the first act is the only one that was professionally reviewed, and then the rest of it just didn't get reviewed by anybody. And they just went ahead and just went with it. And it like a lot of it makes no sense. And again, a lot of people seem to get mad about it. And again, it demands, it is politically divisive inherently by its very nature. That's what it's trying to be. But I was more angry. I wasn't so much mad about the political shit. I was mostly just mad that they fumbled this concept. I was mostly just mad that they were doing well, and then they, like, I don't care if a movie is left or right leaning. I don't care. I just want something good. And it's like when I see a concept that I didn't even know I wanted to see until the first part of this movie was like very good at setting a mood and a tone and bringing the audience into its world. Like it's it almost gives you anxiety, that first act, just because it's like, holy shit, you start thinking about like a bunch of hypothetical scenarios of yourself. Like it's very good at bringing you into its mindset. And then once it's like I compare this movie. Have y'all ever played? Y'all are Dead by Daylight players watching my channel. Have y'all ever played the Hag in Dead by Daylight? And you have a really good board up, and you have a lot of momentum, and then all of a sudden, like, you look at your board and realize you have no plays, and it's the mid game. There's 2 gens left. You have no board. That's this. That is literally this in movie form. And you feel all of that momentum just slipping slowly away, and it never recovers. That is this movie. This movie is having a bad Hag match. Like, literally. Having the worst Hag match you can have, where things are going well, and then at the second half of the game, you just don't have any board left, and then you fall apart. But again, I just wanted to kind of say something about this, just because this was an interesting kind of experience, even though I wish I could have had this on a bigger screen, but it was interesting enough to where I thought I had to say something. And I have retained enough thoughts to not even need any script or anything. But I just wanted to say that I would give this a like, I guess I told you the whole fucking movie, but it's an interesting viewing, this one, and again, not for good reasons. Like the first half is just really good. It's just like the first 30 minutes is good. It's just a very wasted opportunity. Oh well, I'm getting the hell out of here, lads. GG's.